God has been waiting patiently for you, not with anger, not with disappointment, but with a love so deep it trembles through eternity. He has watched you walk through storms, through silence, through all the places where you thought you were alone. Yet through it all, He never rushed you, never forced you, never turned His face away. Because He knows the weight you carry, the wounds you hide, the questions buried inside your heart. And still, He waits. He waits not for perfection, but for surrender. Not for strength, but for honesty. Not for religion, but for relationship. My dear soul, do you feel it? That quiet tug inside your spirit, like someone calling your name in a voice the world cannot hear? That is Him. Calling you back to the place you belong. Calling you home. He has been there in every breath you ever took, in every tear you never showed. When you were laughing with others but dying within yourself, He saw. When you pretended to be strong so others wouldn't worry, He saw. When you broke down in the silence of midnight, asking, "Why me? When will this pain end?" He heard. And even when you doubted His presence, even when you questioned His plan, He never walked away. Instead, He stood at the door of your heart, waiting. Not impatiently. Not angrily. But patiently, like a father waiting for a child who lost their way. A father who never lost hope. You see, God does not measure your worth by your mistakes. He does not tie His love to your success or failure. He has never looked at you and said, "You are too broken, too late, too lost." No. Instead, He whispers, "My child, I chose you before you even knew me. I loved you before you ever loved me. And I have been waiting, so patiently, for the moment you finally realize you were never abandoned. The battles you fought, you thought you survived them by accident. But it wasn't luck. It wasn't coincidence. It was His hand. It was His protection. It was His patience holding back the darkness until you were ready to see the light. There were days you almost gave up. Days you said, "I can't do this anymore." Days when even getting out of bed felt like warfare. But who lifted your head when you had no strength? Who kept your heart beating when sorrow tried to stop it? Who gave you dreams that refused to die even when life tried to bury them? It was Him. Waiting. Not for you to be perfect, but for you to finally see that He is the only one who never left. He has watched every betrayal, every heartbreak, every disappointment. Human hands dropped you. Human words wounded you. Human promises failed you. But divine love has always stayed. You may ask, why does He wait? Why doesn't He push me forward? Because love does not force, it invites. God is not interested in obedience without love, or worship without devotion. He wants your heart. He wants your truth. He wants the version of you that cries in silence, the version of you that questions everything, even Him. He says, "Bring it to me. All of it. Your anger. Your fear. Your shame. Your doubts. I can carry what you cannot." While you were busy trying to be strong for the world, He has been waiting for you to collapse into His arms. To stop fighting alone. To stop pretending you don't need anyone. To finally admit, "I can't do this without you." Every delay in your life, every closed door, every unanswered prayer, it wasn't punishment. It was protection. Because He would rather you arrive late in safety than early in destruction. You thought you missed your moment. You thought it was over. But you don't understand, the moment hasn't even started yet. The waiting was not God ignoring you. It was God preparing you. Preparing you for a blessing that requires maturity. Preparing you for love that requires healing. Preparing you for purpose that requires transformation. And while you thought nothing was happening, everything was happening. There were angels assigned to guard you, long before you even knew you needed protection. They stood watch when you were unsure, when you were tired, when you felt invisible. They covered you when life tried to break you and held you together when the weight of waiting felt too heavy to carry. They were sent to make sure that even when you strayed, grace would always find a way to lead you back home. You didn't see them, but they were there when you almost gave up, when your hope faded into silence. Every unseen rescue was proof that heaven never stopped believing in you. Miracles were hidden behind time, not because God wanted to delay them, but because He wanted to prepare you for their wait. There are blessings that cannot come too early. If they do, they break us rather than build us. So God hides them behind seasons of waiting, behind lessons and tears, shaping our hands, strengthening our hearts so that what He gives us, we will have the maturity to keep. You may not have realized it, but every disappointment that didn't destroy you was divine construction. He was building capacity inside of you. He was enlarging your spirit so that when the miracle arrives, you won't mistake it for coincidence, you'll know it was Him. Opportunities waited behind unseen walls. Walls you thought were barriers were actually boundaries of protection. God did not say, "No," to punish you, He said, "Not yet," to preserve you. How many times did you cry for doors to open, unaware that behind those doors were things that would have stolen your peace or shattered your purity? His wisdom always sees farther than your desire. He was not holding you back, He was holding you together. He was weaving your waiting into wisdom, making sure your gift would not become your downfall. God was building what your eyes couldn't see. While you were wondering if He had forgotten, He was arranging every detail with precision. While you stared at the silence, heaven was crafting your story. Nothing was wasted, not the heartbreak, not the confusion, not the loneliness. Every unanswered prayer was redirecting you into divine alignment. Every closed door was mercy in disguise. You only saw delay, He saw destiny in development. When the time comes and the plan unfolds, you'll see why He took so long. You'll realize He wasn't preparing the blessing for you, He was preparing you for the blessing. You asked, "Why haven't I seen breakthrough yet?" But what if breakthrough is not an event, but a transformation? God is not merely after your circumstances, He is after your identity. He doesn't just want you to recover what you lost, He wants you to discover who you've become. The waiting wasn't punishment, it was revelation. He was teaching you that your value is not in outcomes but in His presence. He was stripping away false worth so that when He lifts you, pride won't undo His work. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are not a mistake. You are chosen to carry grace in a world that forgot what redemption looks like. You are carried by hands that never fail, loved by a heart that has never left. You are the masterpiece He refused to give up on. And He is still waiting, not because you are behind, but because He knows timing. The same God who formed the stars is meticulous with moments. One divine second can shatter years of sorrow. He knows how a single encounter can heal every wound. He knows that when you finally step into His presence with an open heart, every fear will dissolve. You've tried to fix yourself with methods, routines, and remedies, but one touch from the Creator can do more than decades of effort. Everything you lost, He can restore. Everything that was broken, He can rebuild. Every tear was written into His palm, every cry was heard before it was spoken. Nothing escaped His notice, not the nights you doubted Him, not the mornings you forced a smile through your pain. He was there, whispering softly, "Come back to me. I'm not angry. I just miss you." He says, "I know what they did. I know what you did. I know the weight you've been carrying and the secrets you never told. But I am still here. I have not withdrawn my love because of your weakness. I have not retracted my promise because of your failure. I am not disappointed in your humanity, I am ready to show you my divinity. Every failure you thought disqualified you only revealed your need for grace. Every stumble was an invitation to understand His mercy more deeply. You thought walking away created distance, but in truth, even that journey was a part of His path bringing you closer. You didn't lose your place, you lost your pace. But even then, He walked slower just so you could catch up. Yes, you tried many things. You tried to heal by forgetting. You tried to heal by distractions, by pouring yourself into work, by surrounding yourself with people who made you feel wanted but never filled your soul. You tried new beginnings, new habits, new faces, yet something always remained missing. And the more you tried to silence that ache, the louder it grew. Because what you're looking for isn't in achievement or attention, it's in Him. That persistent emptiness, that quiet longing at the end of the day, is not weakness, it's divine memory. Your soul remembers Eden. It remembers the sound of His voice, the warmth of His nearness. The ache itself is proof that you belong elsewhere, that nothing in this world will ever feel like home until you return to Him. God waits because He knows that everything else you chase will eventually exhaust you. He knows that only when you come to the end of self will you finally be ready for surrender. Not because He wants you broken, but because only the surrendered heart can truly rest. He's not withholding satisfaction, He's redirecting it. He knows success won't quiet your spirit. He knows relationships can't heal trauma that only His love can reach. You will try to fill the void with noise and motion until you realize that peace isn't found in the absence of pain, but in the presence of God. Perhaps you tell yourself, but I failed. I sinned. I walked too far. Yet love that is pure does not fracture under failure. God's patience is woven with eternity, His mercy has no expiry date. He doesn't sigh at your weakness, He draws nearer. The farther you drift, the louder He calls. Every near miss, every unseen rescue, every unexpected comfort has been His way of saying, you can still come home. When you were seconds away from collapse, He intervened. When shame told you to hide, grace whispered, try again. He never gave up on you. Even in the moments you couldn't pray, His Spirit prayed within you. He is not waiting for a perfect version of you. He is waiting for the honest you, the one willing to admit, I can't do this alone. Because that confession isn't weakness. It's the doorway to freedom. God can redeem even the ruins. He can use the tears you thought were wasted to water future miracles. He can take the scars that once silenced you and make them songs that heal others. Your past does not exclude you from His promise, it equips you for it. You are not disqualified, you are destined. Redemption doesn't erase your history, it transforms it. The same story that once filled you with shame will one day spark revival in someone else's heart. Do you understand now? It was never you waiting on God, He was the one waiting on you. Not waiting for you to be perfect, not waiting for you to have all the answers, but waiting for your yes. Waiting for the crack in your strength where surrender could finally slip in. Waiting for you to trust Him beyond the borders of your own logic. Because God was never late. Every moment you called delay, heaven called preparation. Every silence you thought was absence was actually careful, divine construction. You thought the door was closed, but God was building a whole new house. He was aligning people, repositioning opportunities, restoring what you did not know was broken. Because divine timing is never about convenience, it's about capacity. God cannot pour new wine into a vessel that still leaks. He will not place holy treasures into hands that still tremble from fear. So He restores the vessel first. Every delay was a divine surgeon's hour, stitching wounds you didn't know were bleeding. You called it rejection. But heaven called it refinement. He wasn't withholding, He was waiting for the fragments of you to be gathered, healed, and ready to hold what He always intended to give. When you finally release control, when you unclench your hands and loosen your grip on the outcomes you tried so hard to manage, you will feel it. Heaven will shift. The tightness in your chest will ease. Peace will begin to flood the chambers where fear once made its home. You will feel a soft strength, not loud, not forced, but steady, blooming in places where weakness had ruled for too long. Clarity will replace the fog. You will realize that confusion was never proof of God's absence, it was proof of your own resistance. You will no longer chase answers, you will begin to rest in presence. This is where you will learn not just about God, but God Himself. Not as a distant deity, but as Father. Not as a supervisor, but as friend. The one who stayed when you broke. The one who held you when you fell. The one who waited as long as it took for you to finally turn around. And people will see it. They will not understand it, but they will feel it. They will ask, "What happened to you? How did you change?" And you will not boast of strength or discipline. You will simply say, "I stopped running. I let God in." That will be your testimony, not of striving, but of surrender. Not of perfection, but of permission, giving heaven permission to heal what you refuse to touch. You were not saved because you held on tightly. You were saved because He refused to let go. Through every wandering, every broken path, every question, every tear, He never loosened His grasp. He followed you into the wilderness, and He waited until your heart turned back. And now here you stand, on the threshold of transformation. You may not see it, but heaven sees it clearly. Angels stand still. Time pauses. The earth holds its breath. Heaven leans close, watching this sacred turning. Because the same God who waited patiently to heal you is now ready to propel you. He whispers, "It's your time. Time to heal from wounds that tried to define you. Time to step beyond shame that tried to silence you. Time to embrace the identity heaven wrote before your first breath. You were created for glory, not guilt. For destiny, not despair. For covenant, not chaos. The same love that carried you in darkness now calls you into dawn. The door is open now. The light is spilling in. The locks you thought were permanent were only waiting for your surrender. Don't hesitate. Don't overthink. Take one trembling step. Whisper His name even if it quivers off your lips. Because sometimes, all heaven needs to rewrite a lifetime is one whispered yes. One breath of faith. One moment where you trust His hands more than your hurt. Your yes becomes the pen that rewrites pain into purpose, delay into destiny. This is your divine turning. The holy hinge between what was and what will be. The end of waiting and the beginning of walking. For what was written in heaven is now beginning to manifest on earth. You are not too late. You never missed your season. The enemy whispered that lie to make you quit. But God preserved what was yours in a vault of grace. Nothing is lost that He cannot resurrect. The dreams you buried under disappointment are breathing again. The visions you abandoned are waking in your spirit. What you thought died was only planted. And now, in the fullness of time, it rises. God does not just restore what was. He multiplies what's next. He will return the years locusts devoured, but He will also add an overflow beyond your imagination. Double for your shame. Joy for your mourning. Purpose for your pain. There is no wasted suffering. The tears you cried watered the very ground where new life will grow. The silence you endured strengthened the roots no one else could see. And now, heaven is opening gates. Promises held in holy suspension are being released. What you feel now is not pressure, it is birth. Do not fear the unknown. You are not entering it alone. The one who goes before you has already written your arrival. The journey you thought was detour was direction. Every closed door redirected your feet back to the path that leads to destiny. Every unanswered prayer was protection from what would have fractured your spirit. You begged Him to make it work. But He loved you too much to let you settle. He broke what you were building because it was breaking you. Now, feel it. Grace is rushing toward you like wind. Favor is surrounding you like morning light. You are stepping into divine alignment, step by step, breath by breath, into everything promised. And when it arrives, it won't feel heavy. It will feel like breathing after holding your breath for years. It will feel like coming home. You will walk into blessings you didn't chase. You will meet opportunities you didn't force. You will hold miracles you didn't manufacture. Because what grace gives, grace sustains. He has been waiting for you. Waiting while you sought love in lesser places. Waiting while you wrestled with questions. Waiting through your storms and your silence. He watched you break, and still believed in your beauty. He watched you wander, and still guarded your path. And now, He is no longer waiting on you. He is walking with you. Hand in hand. Step by step. Into everything He whispered before the world knew your name. The night is ending. The dawn is here. Heaven is ready to begin. This is the hour your heart was made for. Do not look back. Do not doubt your worthiness. Do not question if you're ready. If God says you are, then you are. If heaven says it's time, then it is. Lift your eyes. Loosen your grip. Take the step. This is not just a new chapter. This is resurrection. This is redemption. This is the moment the story turns, forever.